Ladies and gentlemen, K Kim here. Welcome to the daily update. Hope you guys had a good day trading today. S&P is up about 0.2% today, but we see the Nasdaq negative today. However, we did see Dow about 0.5% today. Banks about 2%. Small caps did about 1.5%. We did see gold and silver. They caught a bit today. Looks like Bitcoin also up about 8% there or 5% there, but it's the tech stocks that did see some selling there today. So overall, a little bit of money rotation, right? Money flew out of the tech and kind of flew into the banks and the small caps today. So let's dive in on the S&P here and trying to dissect this thing, figure out what we can expect going into tomorrow. So this was yesterday, right? We did see a gap up, not a big gap up. Yesterday I was talking about gap up, maybe 1%, 1.5% gap up. But this was, about 0.4% gap up. That's not enough. That's not a sizable gap up. So that really didn't give enough momentum there with the 0.4%. I think it had to be at least more than a 1% gap up today for it to kind of see some kind of formal buying. So with that 0.4% gap up, we kind of gapped up, hung around a little bit up and down. That's the first hour, second hour, third hour, fourth hour, fifth hour. So pretty much all day long, we just was moving sideways. And then looks like it came down and filled the gap. And we know that when the gap gets filled, it's going to act as support. So it looks like towards the last hour, we did see that selling and fill the gap. And we saw a little bit of dip buying there. So let's kind of remove that gap. So we know that the gap got filled. Gonna remove that also. So we got current support at 324, which is a gap fill support. And then we have this support 322. 322 is actually a pretty strong support because it acts as resistance prior to it, right? So this level right there. So this vicinity here, 323, 322 is a strong pivot there should the price continue to decline tomorrow. I think maybe there's some kind of a small pop or something like that just because a gap was filled. And we'll know more in the first couple hours of trading. But keep in mind, we are still in an uptrend. My short-term moving average still rising higher, right? That's also going to act as support in that vicinity, 323. We can maybe do, some kind of a fan line support like that, right? Coming from all the way to like July 9th. So a little bit of fan line supports there. You can draw some of those levels going to act as support. So when the market is cultivating higher highs, which we've been talking about last couple of weeks, usually market's going to pull back to cultivate higher low, goes up, pull back, cultivate higher low, and we went up. And now we're pulling back. Gap just got filled. Either we find support at 324 here at this vicinity, or we continue lower. But if we do continue lower, I think there's kind of a support levels that's going to see the buyers. It's going to attract buyers to accumulate in some of those levels there in 322, even somewhere in that vicinity. But for now, I think this level right here is going to be important support right there, 324, 322, right? That's going to be the short-term support to watch going into tomorrow. Let's check out that oscillator real quick. I did tweet things out. Well, I tweeted one tweet midday, right, when the market was I think second or third hour, early third hour, and that was when we saw the oscillator crossed down, which I've noted. And then at the time the gap was open. So once we saw that oscillator cross down, not enough gap. That gap didn't have much of momentum. We kind of hung around all there, and then the pressure was on as the oscillator couldn't, because we didn't see the advancement in the price, so that oscillator got heavy, and so then oscillator continued to rolled over, right, crossed down. That means that buyers are getting tired, right? And bears took advantage of that, at least in the short term. So we did see bears coming it down and filling this gap. That's better for the bears that gap gets filled, right? It would have been better for the buyers if that gap remained open. Then maybe there's another push maybe going into tomorrow. So that gap got filled. That may act as short-term support in the first couple hours. We have to see how the market reacts going into, first couple hours. Until midday, and with that you kind of get a good idea of how the market is going to close. Obviously, I'll tweet things out tomorrow when I see certain things develop, see where the oscillator is at, how the market is behaving, 324, 322. Currently, the oscillator is telling us that the short to micro to short term sentiment is bearish. Currently, that's what the oscillator is telling us. Short to micro term sentiment is bearish, with short to mid-term sentiment bullish. You see what I mean? So short to mid-term bullish sentiment, short to micro-term bearish sentiment. So if bears want to see any more selling, they have to come down and break below 322, 321. That's important support right there. Gotta break below that to maybe even retest that midterm, but it's too early to say as of today. I want overall posture going into tomorrow should be bullish, with micro term, short to micro term selling pressure, while the buyers are taking a rest here. Buyers are going to take a rest. Only question is, while the buyer's taking a rest, while this oscillator reset back down to the support area here, right? Prior resistance, new support, before this thing getting back up, are we gonna see price continue to slide? Or are we gonna see correction through time where we could potentially see this thing moving sideways? Because if we could definitely move sideways, and while that happening, oscillator could come all the way back down to support, and then bulls can make another move higher. So that will be the kind of the biggest question going into tomorrow and remainder of this week, I think, at least next couple days. So I'll come back to you guys tomorrow night, but I will tweet things out if I see certain developments going into tomorrow, first hour, several hours of the day. You can follow me at 2K Kim. We'll go from there, right? You guys enjoy your evening. Good luck trading tomorrow.